There are struggles that come with being an amputee, but there are mostly beautiful moments because of the people that I have met because of it in the amputee community and then in the van community. So a lot of people tell me they're inspired that I do this even with this medical condition. And
So tell the audience something about you.
something about me. Something sort of unique. I lived in a van for 6 months and traveled around, lived on my savings, quit a job before I bought the van, decided it was a toxic job and that I needed to go explore and not worry about making money or anything, but just having my thoughts to myself and waking up with beautiful views, seeing national parks. And I traveled from Colorado up to Utah, back down to Arizona, to Texas, and back up. So nothing too crazy, but pretty life-changing experience being on your own, on the road, and a lot of times without service, without Wi-Fi, and just parking somewhere, reading a book, looking around. And I had to sell that van, but I'm saving for another. I would like to do that again one day.
Well, you made an interesting comment. You live in a van. How does that affect you as far as like friendships, relationships, and even family?
Well, it, for one, worried my parents quite a bit. I am an amputee, so having a medical issue, it has put a lot of worry on my parents. But as far as my friends go, I think it was inspiring to some. I do have some friends who bought vans after they saw what I was doing. I had a lot of friends who didn't understand it. I have a lot of friends who very much love having a big house and air conditioning and a bathroom and can't fathom living on the road and not having those comforts. So I've lost friends, but I've also gained a ton of friends who are in the van life community.
Earlier on, you mentioned that you are an amputee. Would you like to give us a better understanding of what you mean and how is that affecting you currently?
Sure. So I was born with a vascular problem, and since I was 2, I've had dozens and dozens of surgeries. When I was 25, I got an infection in my bone from a surgery, and I decided a couple years later, after walking around on an infected, fractured foot that was pretty useless at that point, that I needed to just have it amputated, cut off. So I did that, and due to my vascular condition, I'm really tender to the touch on my leg, my lower leg. So I couldn't wear a socket, which most amputees wear, so I was without a foot and on crutches for 2 years. This was before van life, and I needed $100,000 to get a surgery in Australia to get walking again, where they put the implant directly into your leg, into your bone. That was my only option to get walking again. So that's what actually got me out in California working on farms, because it's really good money. And that was pretty tough. I was living on farms, rough conditions, on crutches, hustling though, trying to make this money, and I did, and also with the help of a ton of very kind, generous people who donated to my GoFundMe. So once I got that money, went to Australia, got the surgery, got walking. That's actually when I left Dallas and went back to Denver and fell into the nanny job that I ended up quitting, and then got into the van life. And when you don't walk for a couple years, you really have a lot of time to think about what you're gonna do when you are walking. So I had wanted to live in a van, since my early 20s. It was always a pipe dream. But once I was walking and working and had the money, it was easy to decide I'm finally gonna do this. So there are struggles that come with being an amputee, but there are mostly beautiful moments because of the people that I have met because of it in the amputee community and then in the van community. So a lot of people tell me they're inspired that I do this even with this medical condition, and it's really cool to meet people that are so supportive. And I have a lot of people who are constantly cheering me on with my lifestyle. So that's the gist of it.